Charles Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, swings to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, swings down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown! No greater redemption!
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What is going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew, and guys, we are here. Week 16, 15. It's week 16, right? I'm pretty sure it's week 16. There's 2 games left. That means 2 weeks left. Guys, we are here. We're going to have a lot of fun before we head on over to Patreon for the show. Looks like the Panthers are doing their part to help the 49ers keep their playoff hopes alive. Now, on the count of 3 out there in the chat, raise your hand if you think the 49ers are going to make the postseason. 1, 2, 3. All right. I guess I don't see any hands out there in the chat, so that's cool. Listen, man. I've been thinking about how to approach today's episode, right? And here's what I came up. You know what? Before I even get to all that, give us a follow on some of our social media platforms, guys. We have Facebook, IG, and Twitch. Those handles are Nothing But 9ERS. Again, that is Nothing But 9ERS. Let me change my color scheme up here too. Let's get our red back in there. Bond, there it is. All right. Boom. There we go. Follow us on Snapchat as well as Twitter. Those handles are Nothing But 9. It's the number 9, Nothing But 9ERS. All right. Hit like, subscribe. If it's your first time here on the YouTube page, turn on your notifications. And also, guys, head on over to the Patreon, man, the Patreon party. We get down with the get down over there, especially on game day. Oh, man. We have a lot of fun. So make sure you guys join us over there. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. Join the Patreon community, and the Patreonians will tell you how we really do it over there. All right, so back to the comments. Let me see what y'all say. No, unfortunately, no, nah. All right, I think it's a good thing. Right? Like the Niners don't really need to make the postseason. It's just more injuries and more people that we're gonna lose long term and all that stuff. Like let's just chill. Like let's not even sneak into the postseason. We're not gonna beat anyone. Like, remember how last year the Eagles started on fire, right? And then they played the Niners, and Niners kind of showed everybody like the secret sauce to beating the Eagles, right? Well, there's no secret sauce this year. We just suck. Like we're just not good this year, right? I'm going to go over the injuries and all that stuff, but we're just not good. We are not a good football team this year. You can blame it on coaching. You can blame it on age of the players. You can blame it on the offense. You can blame it on the defense. You can blame it on individual plays. And if this had went right, then we would have been fine. We are not good. We are not good, and that's the bottom line. But when I was trying to figure out how to approach today's episode, right? Like I wanted to come in here, and I wanted to let me show you guys this, right? Let me share our inactive list with you guys for today, right? I wanted to start with the inactive list because we have yet another running back just straight up inactive. Yet another running back who was not playing. Just straight up inactive, okay? So per Matt Burrows here, 49ers inactives are as follows. Quarterback Joshua Dobbs. Tackle Trent Williams. Running back Isaac Garindo. Tight end Jake Tungus. Defensive lineman Khalil Davis. Defensive end Robert Beal Jr. And cornerback Rock Yassin. issue. Isaac Arindo. We are down yet another running back, right? And then the second someone says, man, the 49ers should look into their strength and conditioning staff, you know what everyone's going to say? Oh, well, technically, we had more injuries before. It's not their fault that the play. Well, then why are they here? What do they do? Why are they here? And why don't I have the right to complain about the number of injuries I'm seeing from this team? It's an absurd amount. We were the fourth most injured team before, and now we were pretty good a couple of years ago. They're not good now. They're not good now. So that means I can't want better because they were good before? Make it make sense. It's like everyone saying, oh, well, this Brock Purdy that we're seeing right now, it's not Brock Purdy's fault. You know, what about what he did the first 2 seasons that he was here? And what about when he was 22-4? And he's not playing the same now. Christian McCaffrey is hurt now. Brandon Ayuk is hurt now. I think people have the right to complain or voice their frustrations with what's happening now. I don't care about last year. I don't care about the year before. I don't care about the year before that one either. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We have another injury to the running backs room. We should sound some sort of alarm. We should be bothered by it. Right now, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's the worst joke in the world. Mark says here, Mike, it's a new training staff. The trainer and his crew from last season went to Atlanta in the offseason. We need another training staff. We need a new training staff. These guys can't stay healthy. They fart too hard and they pop something. I've never seen anything like it. Yes, I have. It was the 49ers a couple seasons ago. But I don't care about the past, right? I got to pick a side and stay on that side. I'm saying I don't care about the past, so I'm going to let that go. However, what I've seen this year has not been enough. It's not been enough. Mr. Joe says here, no point in winning. That's exactly why the Niners are going to end up going out and winning today. Because it does nothing but hurt us going forward. It only makes the future worse. It only lowers the draft pick. That's it. That's all it does. And that's exactly why the Niners will go out there and go win. Because the one thing they shouldn't do. Remember when we played the Bears 2 weeks ago? I do. Like, I don't know why we're going to go out there and beat the Bears. We're not going to beat the Bills. The season's over. And guess what happened? You guessed it. We dog walked the Bears. Had people hype. Had me thinking, oh, maybe there is something there in that Niners can't. Like maybe we can't. It was the Bears. It was the Bears. We won a pointless game. Got everybody's hopes up. And then we proceeded to get dog walked the following week. So what are we going to do now? You guessed it. We're going to go here and win a stupid game that we have no business winning. We have no business winning. This is going to be a game where both teams are going to try and lose. That's what I think is going to happen. I did not pick the Niners to win this game, Brent. I did not. I picked the Dolphins to win, but I wouldn't be surprised the Niners won because that's the one thing we shouldn't do. We should not go out there to win. I want to go over some more of this injury report here. Joshua Dobbs, third quarterback. It looks like he was only elevated that 1 week because of the inclement weather. Kyle stayed true to that. All right, so cool. Good to see Purdy is out there going to be playing. Hopefully our backup and his broken finger feeling better. Trent Williams. I know a lot of people are concerned. Are we going to see Trent Williams anymore? Is he going to play anymore? Guys, like, no. My man went from a game-time decision to something happening in his family to being out and no longer practicing anymore. Trent Williams is somewhere smoking a big cigar. Did you guys watch all the offensive linemen receiving their gifts from Brock Purdy? Guess who you didn't see in that video clip? Do y'all remember? Do you remember who was not in that video clip? I'll tell you. Trent Williams. He wasn't even there to get a gift from Brock Purdy. Don't expect to see Trent Williams anymore this season. Don't expect to see him at all. Rock Yassin, Robert Beal Jr., Khalil Davis. Well, I mean, but nope. And Jake Tungus. Jake freaking Tungus. It's weird because I don't recall seeing his name on the inactive list much, but I don't recall saying his name during games either. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And yes, Mark, I absolutely agree with you. We could have just kept Latu because this guy didn't do anything. This guy did absolutely nothing for the 49ers. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Let's speak factually. Let's look up Jake Tungus's stats. Let's see if he did anything for the 49ers because I don't want to misspeak. I don't recall seeing him. I don't recall saying his name at all. But it says here that he's played in 14 games, so he must be a really, really good special teamer for the 49ers this year. He has been a part of every game so far. Every game. He has, on the season, how many targets is that? 0 targets for 0 receptions. See what I did there? I made it seem like I was counting something, and I really wasn't doing any counting. You guys saw that? Did you catch that? I thought that was funny. I was entertained. Sorry. He's got 1 target his entire NFL career, and that came from Chicago. The Bears. Not when we played them. I'm talking about in 2022. So, yeah, we absolutely could have kept my guy, Cameron Latu. But what do I know? It's all good. So, back to how I wanted to address you guys and discuss the current state of the 49ers heading into this game. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I forgot that sometimes when I touch my microphone, it does this weird thing. And so hopefully you didn't do that. Let's see here. Oh, wait, hold on now. Oh, Matthew says here, I'm sorry. I don't see it your way. I don't root for this team for them to play for best possible draft picks. This team won't quit like Campbell did. I didn't say anything about quitting. I said we shouldn't win. That means that, okay, I see what's happening here. I think you think I want us to go out and try to lose. No, that's how you end up getting hurt. I think that if the Niners put their best foot forward today against another team putting their best foot forward today, the Niners are going to lose. I've got 3 teams in the entire NFL that I'm comfortable saying the Niners could beat if they actually tried. At some point, we have to acknowledge the amount of injuries. We have to acknowledge the way the offensive line plays. We have to acknowledge the way Brock Purdy has regressed. We have to acknowledge the way the wide receivers don't show up for Brock Purdy on the occasion that he does show up. We have to acknowledge the lack of running backs. And then we have to acknowledge the inconsistencies on special teams. Hell, I'll even tell you got to acknowledge the inconsistencies and ineffectiveness of the defensive side of the ball. The last 2 games have been pretty good. So it's, I gave them a little bit of grace, right? But I don't want them to go. They're not going to quit. They're not going to do that. I don't think they know how to. I don't think a professional player knows how to quit. They cannot give a fuck, right? Like what Campbell did was something different. Like he just was on some BS, right? But I don't think that the Niners locker room is wired that way. With the players speaking out against Campbell so passionately and so publicly, I definitely don't think that they're going to quit. So let's be clear with what I'm saying here. I don't think the 49ers best beats the Dolphins best currently. That's my statement. And that's why I didn't pick the Niners to win. All right. So hope that cleared that up for you, Matthew. I think we think the same way. I think we think the same way. And to be honest with you, if I'm being 1,000,000% transparent, it doesn't matter where we pick. Doesn't matter if we're picking 12th or if we're picking 17th. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who the player is going to be. We don't know how the player is going to perform. We don't know what opportunities that player is going to get. Because we have to remember something. Kyle doesn't like to play rookies unless he's forced to. So even all the talk about the draft position and all that stuff, yes, I do. There is some green, some good, some silver lining with losing. You get the higher draft pick, you trade back and try to acquire more and build your team up that way, right? I mean, if we're going to give Brock Purdy this big contract, we're going to have to get some cheaper guys here in the building. So, yeah, you want to get higher draft picks so you can trade back, still acquire some good talent, and still build the roster through more picks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with that. But no, I don't think this team, I don't think any of that really, really makes a difference in the grand scheme of things. We're just not a good team right now. So back to what I was saying. If you criticize the training staff, the stat people jump at you and say, oh, no, you can't say that because the Niners used to do this and the Niners did that. And they looked like this before. And if you criticize Kyle Shanahan, oh, well, they say, Mike, well, he's working with a handful of, and it's not fair to judge Kyle and his play calling because it looks like Brock Purdy isn't and what about all the wide receivers that he's missing? And what about this offensive line? Well, okay. All right. A couple of things here. One, I do think it's fair to criticize Kyle Shanahan. I do think it's fair to say that you want and expect better from this head coach, this offensive play caller, this offensive coordinator. I don't think it's fair to blame the offensive line that they chose to keep together. They chose to keep this offensive line the way that it was. And the new acquisition we lucked into, and even Kyle admitted he wouldn't have gotten any looks as a starter if it weren't for 2 injuries that happened during training camp. They didn't want this offensive line here. And not for nothing, Pooney's been an upgrade. So, I mean, we accidentally improved the offensive line. So, yes, I do believe that it's fair to critique Kyle Shanahan. And I think you guys should be okay with hearing the critiques and criticisms for Kyle Shanahan. Now, what I personally am not subscribed to is I want Kyle Shanahan gone, right? Like, oh, we should fire Kyle Shanahan. He didn't live up to our deal, so let's run him out of town. Now, I'm not ready to move on from Kyle Shanahan, but the reason I'm not willing to move on from him isn't because of the whole, oh, well, if you get rid of him, then who are you going to get instead, right? I don't give a shit about that part. A new coach is a new coach. New scheme is a new scheme. I don't care. A change is required when you're not happy with your current situation, period. You could move on to worse. I have broken up with people in my past, and the next girlfriend was a way worse girlfriend. But that doesn't mean that the one that I left before was the right answer. Does that make any sense to you guys? All right. So I'm not trying to sit here and say we can't move on from Kyle because we don't know who the next person's going to. I don't care about that part. I am okay with trying to change and getting into a worse situation. I'm okay with it because I value the attempt to improve. But I don't want to move on from Kyle Shanahan. And the reason I don't want to move on from Kyle Shanahan is because I think that he's built up enough equity. For me, I would hope that the rest of the fan base feels the same way, but maybe they don't. But Kyle Shanahan has built up enough equity and stock and value. I've seen him turn this terrible, terrible team completely around and get us to not 1 but 2 Super Bowls. I think he's entitled to a down year. And now, hey, Kyle, let's see what you got. Let's see if you can fix this thing. If we got rid of any coach because they had 1 bad season, I can't say George Seifert. Well, I can say George Seifert, but there's no Bill Walsh. And the descendant who followed was George Seifert. You lose out on the 2 greatest 49er head coaches we've ever had if you get rid of guys after 1 bad season or 2 bad seasons. So I'm not ready to move on from him. What I need to see now is Kyle's ability to change, to adapt, and adjust. And throughout the season, I've highlighted some points in time where I felt like Kyle was doing that. I felt like Kyle was sincerely making some changes. So I don't think it's too late to teach an old dog new tricks. I also think it's really, really hard to make serious systematic changes during the season. I think that's hard to do. I do. So I think you take a step back in the offseason, you revamp, you rework, and you come out with something new. Because the truth of the matter is, this whole promote from within thing that the Niners do every single year is coming back to bite us in the ass. It's biting us in the ass. There are some schematic changes that have to happen this year. We just got to see what happens. We have to see what happens. And I am patient enough to do so. Now, with those changes are going to be some different looking plays and players, if you know what I'm saying. What does that mean for Brock Purdy? Because I have not been happy with what I've seen from Brock Purdy this year. And I know all these advanced metric people would say, oh, EPA, and he's per play. I don't give a shit about that. What I've seen from Brock Purdy is not enough. It's not enough. At some point in time, it felt like the Niners just said, we are going to have Purdy throwing this ball all over the field. I didn't like it. And while everybody was saying, they're running Christian McCaffrey too much, they're using Christian McCaffrey too much, I never felt that way. Now, would I have liked, you know what, let me rephrase that. There were times where I felt like we were overusing Christian McCaffrey. Specifically Christian McCaffrey, not the run game. I like the amount of rushing attempts that we had going on at one point. I would have liked to see other running backs worked into the rotation. I didn't think it had to be McCaffrey all the time, every time. I hope I'm clear with what I'm saying here. Okay? But to go back to my whole point with everything, I haven't seen the same things I've expected and wanted to see from Brock Purdy this year. That's okay. It is okay to say that and not feel like you're saying something that's blasphemous or anti-49ers or racial or political or any of those things, because it's not that. The kid doesn't look the same to me this year. I think he'll be the first one to tell you, I have not played up to my expectations this season. I think Brock is aware. I think he's got that level of self-awareness that he'll tell you that. I do. Does that mean we don't need Brock Purdy here? Not necessarily. Does that mean that I don't want Brock Purdy here? Not necessarily. Flip it. Does that mean that I want Brock Purdy here? Not necessarily. Does that mean that I have to have Brock Purdy as my franchise quarterback? No. But we've got a season and a half where we love Brock Purdy, and we have a full season where we don't like Brock. I have. Let me not say we. I have a season and a half where it's like, okay, the kid makes me scared, but I see what he's doing here. Good, go. Then I have this season. I'm like, oh, man, this kid ain't it. I'll tell you guys straight up. I don't think Brock Purdy's it. Based off of what I've seen this year, I don't think Brock Purdy is it. I don't think he's clutch down the stretch. The overthrows are too consistently happening. The underthrows are too consistently happening. The tip passes are too consistently happening. Missing the open guys. It just happens too consistent for me to say, this is the guy I want operating and running this franchise. I don't feel that way about Brock Purdy based off of what I've seen this year. Please rewind 7 minutes ago when I was talking about what I thought of Kyle Shanahan this year. Does it mean that I want someone new? No, not necessarily. But if we got someone new, okay, I can live with that too. No, people, I am not. This has nothing to do with any former 49er quarterbacks. None of them. If the Niners went out and drafted a quarterback in the first round of this upcoming draft, I wouldn't be shocked. If they didn't draft a quarterback at all, I wouldn't be shocked. If they picked up Kirk Cousins in free agency because he's going to be cut before March 17th, I wouldn't be shocked. And if they stayed exactly where they are, with exactly the staff that we have right now, I also wouldn't be shocked. I would expect to see an improvement, though. I would expect to see the 49ers be better than what they were this year. Because right now, this sets the floor. Brock without his wide receiver one, who everyone tried to devalue. Now all of a sudden, y'all care about the separations, the separation yards. All of a sudden, we give a shit about beating man coverage. During those negotiations, though, y'all didn't. Y'all told me we didn't need to pay Ayuk because we just drafted Ricky Pearsall. I was told over and over Ayuk is overpaid because we got Debo and Kittle and we drafted Pearsall and we got Cowing. You know what's funny? All those people are here still, right now. We ain't doing shit, bro. And I'm not saying that this bad season is on the back of Ayuk, because I want you guys to remember where I'm going with this. This is about Purdy right now. What I'm saying is this. This is the floor for Purdy. This has to be the lowest of the low. Oh yeah, Nigel Jennings too. That's right. They told me Jennings was the man. You go out and find a game that Jennings was the man and tell me how it ended. But that's a separate story. Separate story. Here's my point. This is the floor for Brock Purdy. We've seen him without this weapon and that weapon and this weapon and that weapon and this running back and that running back and Kyle Shanahan maybe being a little off with his play calling and having to work with rookies and all the different combinations of offensive linemen. This should be the floor. This should be the absolute worst version of what we get. So if the Niners decide to stay with Brock Purdy, I expect this to get better. If they decide to move on from Brock Purdy, I would hope that it's an upgrade over Brock Purdy, not a step backwards. But what we can't do is stay the same. We definitely cannot stay the same. That is a wasted season. This season is going to be a waste, and we'll reap some benefits from the draft, wherever they may come. It could be a 7th rounder again. It could be a 6th rounder, 5th rounder. I don't know. But this season will have to bear some fruit. We have fertilized the soil enough. It stinks. It stinks. I don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position. But again, my honest assessment, based off of what I've seen this year, is Brock Purdy is not the guy. But maybe Brock Purdy in year 4 could become the guy. Maybe he'll get better. I believe in people being able to change and adjust and get better. He's never going to get stronger. His arm isn't going to get better. Right? But maybe he'll have a better grasp of the playbook. You know? Maybe he'll have a better rapport and timing with his weapons. All of those things are positive. All of those things are good. Those things help. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that. We just have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. Someone says in here, you want Cousins. I never said I want Cousins. What the fuck? What are we? Garrick? Mr. Huff? I don't know what you mean. I don't want Kirk Cousins at all. I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners went out there and got him. I'm not the guy that's notoriously had a hard on for Kirk Cousins. That's our head coach, Kyle, not me. Not me. And you know what's funny? If the Niners went out there and got him, all of y'all that are laughing right now at Kirk Cousins would spend the next 3 months convincing yourselves Kyle finally got his guy. Oh, this is our year. Kyle finally got his guy. So save the laughing and all that stuff at people who may actually want Kirk Cousins. Again, I'm not one of them. But don't finger point and try to laugh at him, because y'all are going to go out there, and as soon as he comes out week 1 and throws for 42 points, you're going to be like, oh, shit, Kyle got his guy, and this is what it's supposed to look like all along. And all you guys are going to convince yourselves that it was the right thing to do. So just stop. It's okay. Now, what about the defensive side of the ball? I've been happy with some of the things that the Niners have done this year. I think that the Niners really went back and said, we have to make some tough decisions. I think the reason they were so anxious to get Talanoa Hufanga back was because they needed to see between him and Jair Brown. And y'all know how I feel about my Jersey guy, but I think that they have now settled on the communication that Hufanga brings to that back end is more valuable than anything that he does physically. They just seem to play better when Hufanga's in there. And I think that the Niners feel like they don't need both Jair Brown and Talanoa Hufanga. So they have to make this decision. I think that they have used this time to make an assessment. I think that these last 2 games we have seen, well, let me say the last 3 games, because we played without Nick Bosa and the defensive line showed up. And then Bosa came back, and it was like, all right, what happened? Like, are we depending too much on Bosa? I think that this has all been a big part of evaluation, right? How do we healthily rotate these players in and out of the lineup? It's a learning curve. This is going to call for guys who have been very content and secure with their jobs to make some changes, right? Chris Kocurek has been the shiny jewel on a Kyle Shanahan defense, and he's never been under more scrutiny. People want to see this wide 9 disappear. They want to see a better rotation, better usage of Nick Bosa. Where the hell is Nick Bosa, right? His face is on milk cartons and shit. People are kind of over the Chris Kocurek thing. But we got to see what happens, right? Again, this promoting from within. Go and find a real defensive coordinator. I don't think there are many people that are out there that are happy about Nick Sorensen. I could be wrong, but I don't know that many people that are happy about him. I know Nick Bosa said, "Oh, bring him back." What is he supposed to say during the season, guys? What is he supposed to say during the season? Yeah, screw my current defensive coordinator. I want him out of here. Come on, man. They went out and did some things and invested in this defense, and they went out and they secured Ambry Thomas. Oops. Deommodore Lenoir. I think that they have made a decision on Charvarius Ward. I think they realize they're going to let him go. And I think they all of a sudden realized just how valuable Dre Greenlaw is to the San Francisco 49ers defense. I think that if anybody proved their value in just one game, and it was only a half a game, it was Dre Greenlaw. That man should be back. He should absolutely be back. The Niners should be working to lock him up right now. More important than Brock Purdy is Dre Greenlaw. Yeah, I said it. And I will go into it later on if you guys need me to break that down. I don't have time to do that right now. Bosa said it about Wilkes. I don't know what this means, Rob. Bosa said what about Wilkes? Did he say he wanted Wilkes gone during the season? I know he said it needed some changes. I've heard Bosa call out some defensive things this year and last year. I've heard him say, we used to do this really well, and we just stopped doing it, or we don't do it anymore. I've heard him say that the last 2 seasons. But I don't know what you mean by Bosa said it about Wilkes. If you want to let me know, I'll keep an eye out on the chat. I don't watch the chat the whole time. I've been waiting for a girl like you. All right. But yeah, so I think that there has been some changes going on with the 49ers. And I think that, like I said, the fruit is out there. The fruit is out there. And we're going to be okay. This is just not our year. So we're going to go and we're going to watch the game. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that there are no big injuries. We want everyone to get out of here healthy. We want to see if Raheem Mostert is going to go off against his former team. I doubt it. We're going to see if Mike McDaniel can finally beat Kyle Shanahan. He probably will this time. I don't know if Kyle's beaten any of his former guys this year at all. I don't know that. Oh, they said week 1 he beat Robert Saleh, but Robert Saleh was on the defensive side of the ball. I just don't know that any of his offensive guys have lost to Kyle this year. Mike, you're on the clock. Got to be careful, buddy. Got to be careful. All right. Yeah, we just got to see, man. I want to see us get after the ball. I want to see us be tough. I would like to see a couple of turnovers this time. I did this whole talk without even mentioning that BS special teams unit. I'll tell you what. Y'all want to know how I feel about Kyle? And I said it already, but I reserve the right to change my mind. Kyle Shanahan will absolutely lose 100% of my support if we come back with the same special teams coordinator next year. I mean that wholeheartedly. It doesn't mean I'm going to not be a 49ers fan. It doesn't mean that the shows stop or any of that. But what it does mean is that I will no longer support Kyle Shanahan. And I will actively, want him to be gone. And we'll have no problem voicing it at any and every opportunity. To keep this special teams coordinator here is a slap in the face to the NFL and specifically to this fan base, to those players. Oof, man, I don't even know which part would be worse. It's such an insult to the players. It's an insult to the guys that are out there on the special teams unit. There's no way he can do that, right? Little do we know. Little do we know. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. We got a couple of minutes before the game starts. All right. Really quick to the chat, my little call to action for you guys. Yes or no, do you guys think the 49ers win today? All right. Let's see what you guys got here. Do you guys think the 49ers win today? Type in there a quick yes or a no for me. Let's see what you guys say. Thanks for the backup, Nigel. What are you guys talking about? Do you think Huff takes a team-friendly deal to stay next year? Yeah, I think so. I think he would. I think Dre Greenlaw is done with the team-friendly deals, though. I think Dre Greenlaw should get the bag. He did a little cheapo 2-year deal or something like that already. I'm over Kosuric and the wide 9. Kyle's infatuated with this defensive scheme that was good a decade. Yeah, Mark, I'm with you on that, man. I am with you on that as well. You got to get over it, bro. It's done for. SD says no. DJ Malone says no. Rob D says yes. Flo says no. 805 Blackbeard says no. J Rich, big no. Mr. Joe sang it. He said no. Nigel Crane says yes. Humble Thyself says yes. Honestly, depends on which Tua shows up, okay? Delvin says yes. You are not. You aren't that important. I'm going to call you Yaddy. Says hope not. Stovey says no. All right. Well, listen, guys. Abinaconda should have a good game today. He's going to be a player that I'm watching for. I want to see what this young running back could do. I expect him to have about 4 or 5 catches, really get the 49ers fans excited. Patrick Taylor, I think he's going to start running, but I think he's going to be a little less exciting than what you guys think. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think of, this is going to sound so bad, right? I think of Patrick Taylor, and I don't know why either. So let me be very clear what I'm about to say. I don't have anything to base this off of. But when I think of Patrick Taylor here, I think of when we had Jacobs from the Giants. Remember when he was here for like a half a year? Remember when we had Brandon Jacobs? Do you guys remember that? Just this big, just upright, just never mind. I'll let it go. But that's kind of where I feel. Debo at halfback loading, maybe. It's very possible. It's very possible. Abanaconda is now the second running back on the depth chart with Garindo out. Taylor, Abanaconda. We'll see what happens, though, man. We'll see what happens. Depends on if you slide Debo in there as well. So, all right, Brock, be concise. I want to see what my man can do. Go out here and let's go out here and be a good decision maker, Brock Purdy. Make the right reads. I don't care if they drop it. I don't care about all that shit. That throw to Debo was beautiful last week. Warranted absolutely nothing. Debo, redeem yourself. Here's your opportunity. Here's your chance. You know what I'm saying? Here is your opportunity, Debo. I just want to see the team fight. And I think they'll do that. I think the team will absolutely fight. So, guys, head on over to Patreon. All right, patreon.com/NB9ERS. That is where you are going to want to be. That's going to do it for today's episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment. Let me know why you didn't, all right? Either way, I'll be back. I'll talk to you guys soon after the game. Maybe I'll do a halftime show as well, all right? Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Nothing but Niners. We nothing